Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. As you can see, we've got Scott Girard in from the Fitchburg Star. Good morning, Scott. Thanks for joining us again.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
2 days in a row.
I was going to say, this is a rare treat. This is exciting.
We're pumped for it. So thanks for coming in and joining us. Better to have you in person. I know you had a busy day yesterday, so we take what we can get here. But today you're here to talk about this month's Fitchburg Star. The next paper has come out. So take us inside.
Yeah, so this month's paper came out last Friday. It was a weird month because the second Friday was January 8th, which, the first Friday was January 1st, which I don't think anyone noticed. But we still had to put the paper together. So this month's biggest story is really just recounting 2015 and looking ahead at 2016 and looking at the biggest stories from around the city. So our top stories from last year, number one, it kind of played into almost every other top story, but was Steve Arnold winning the mayor's office in such a close election.
Mm-hmm. That was something.
Yeah.
And all around, it was a close race. And
there were challengers in all the alder districts. And so just kind of the election was really our big story of 2015.
And yet 2016, we'll see the election on a higher
note,
note,
a bit bigger scale for sure. Not quite local to Fitchburg. But yeah, it's going to be another year full of politics, I would imagine.
Understandable.
And so our second and third top stories from last year both kind of involved some fallout, I think, from that election, and they were the budget becoming a huge battle.
Sure.
Multiple long meetings, the initial vote against the budget.
I was going to say that did we have a time frame of the last time that even ever happened, or was it the first time it happened in Fitchburg?
I don't know the last time
we don't
it
even
happened.
have history. It might have been the first time that happened.
Yeah, we should look into that maybe.
It was the first time in a while, I know, because I know they had to look at how to handle the second meeting and what they were supposed to do. So that was a huge story. The budget obviously affects so many things.
Right.
So that battle was our number two story. And number three was one that the council meeting saw is going to continue in 2016, Lacey Road.
Sure.
There was a lot of back and forth between residents on the road and alders and Mayor Arnold and city staff. And just 2016 is going to show that it's not over yet, I think.
Yeah. It's a very large project. And it's just going to take its time to get through.
Yeah.
And
it's a road that so many people travel on, but obviously people live on as well and call it their home. So trying to balance those.
Understandable.
Number four takes a bit away from the government, and Beta Nelson, who's a Fitchburg resident, Verona Area High School swimmer, one of the best in a long, long time, and how well she did this year finishing up her high school swimming career. And then a story of 2016 is what's going to happen with her as she looks ahead to Olympic trials and everything, which is really cool to have someone in our local community.
So exciting.
On that big of a scale.
Yeah,
super exciting.
Set a lot of records in the high school pools, right?
Yep. Yeah, she broke her own records this year, I think, at state a few times. And next year she's also going to be a Wisconsin Badger, so that's exciting that she'll be staying local.
Right. Well, we'll keep following her then.
Absolutely. So our number five story was about the transgender teen who came out to the church. That was our cover story, Orion, and that was just a very timely story, I think, about things going on nationwide that were also happening right here in the city, and it's always interesting to find those things.
Yeah, find the local touch to, what's happening and put it in perspective.
Exactly. It puts it more of a personal touch on things.
Absolutely.
So after that, a sports center project that was proposed. Common Council's talked a little bit about this, but a giant sports complex that would also include a hotel and everything. That could be huge for the city, so that proposal was...
That would be like there's a lot of development happening out there, but that would be like the biggest kickoff to...
Nothing like it.
Right.
There's nothing like it around here, so...
Yeah, that's a regional attraction for sure, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with that, but that proposal was certainly had to be in our top 10.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Kind of came out of nowhere,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that in a bad way or a good way, just, when it came up, it was like, whoa, this is...
You're completely right. It was first reported in our December paper, I think, and I remember having a story on it that I was putting on the paper, and my boss came out and was like, we need to run a rendering of this. You'll see. And he showed me the different pictures that they had gone over, and I was...
That's what blew me away. So I covered that meeting for us, and it
when you see the scale of it, you're just... Yeah, it's impressive.
It would be a staple to that, Sure. It would be something that would draw regionally, I think you're right.
Absolutely.
and could be a cool opportunity for the city. So
Totally.
it'll be cool to see which way it goes.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And that
So-
made our top stories of 2016 as well for watching how that process plays out.
Yeah.
Right.
Then after that, Promega, major business here, had the shakeup with its board, and then also opened a new facility that I know you guys did coverage of, and it's a really interesting new facility. So that's big news for the city, certainly. The fire chief and administrator searches and kind of the processes that those went through. But finally having them settled now and knowing who's coming. So that was certainly a top story because those are major positions.
Well, right. You think about what happened. You had the big elections. You had a mayor change. You had the, new city administrator. And then you still had some other top
Well,
positions.
that's what I was going to say. I love that you guys kind of pull all these stories together at the end of the year because, as the year goes on and on, you kind of forget, like, oh, that happened this year and this happened this year. So it's really fun to have it all there to look at, like, this was a crazy big year. So
well, Preston and I were talking about our coverage this morning that we saw an increase in our coverage of just things that had happened in the community.
Right.
I mean, even though it seemed like a quiet, in some respects a quiet year, it was, there's always stuff happening. It makes it really neat.
Absolutely. Well, and to your point, when I was writing up the election one, because I kind of covered that back when it happened, so I wrote up the story. It was like, oh my gosh, that was this year.
Yeah.
Like it seems like so distant.
It's crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
Everything that's happened since, but
it's been an active year here in Fitchburg. Gotta say,
absolutely.
Holy smokes!
All right, Scott. Well, we appreciate you coming in and filling us out. If you want to pick up your paper today, it's probably already been sent
Should
out.
have been mailed last Friday. If you didn't get a copy, please contact us. Otherwise, you can buy them.
And we have them here at City Hall too. So if you stop in, you can be there. And then always you can check out connectfitchburg.com for the most recent up information.
Absolutely.
All right, Scott. Thank you so much. We'll
Thank you guys
talk
for
to you
having me.
soon.